Hey, when you make the post about the show, can you tag me?
Shit. Oh, whoops. Oh, God. Oops, I started early. Well, shit. What up? Welcome to the 1v1 show. I'm your host, Mikey, but you can call me... Alright, shit. Hyphy, but you can call me Mikey. And, as always, joining me every week here at the 1v1 show at 11 a.m. I mean, we started a little late today, but yeah. Anyways, here... Let me bring up Geo. Where is Geo? Boom! Wait, where's my camera?
With Gucci Mane.
But okay, I'm doing it. I can't even find my camera, and already my internet connection's shooting out. But tell us what we do here, Gio.
All right. So, okay.
Oh yeah, are we back on? Oh, I think we are back on.
We back on? Oh, we are back on. Oh shit.
Oh, whoops.
All right. Should I start the rumor roll? Stop.
I mean, yeah, we're live.
Oh shit! All right, we're live. All right, so and for those of you who are first time here, this is what we do here at the 1v1 show. This is where pop culture and nerd culture clash.
And technical
And what that
difficulties
means
also
is
clash.
What's that?
And technical difficulties also clash.
Oh yeah, this is where we clash with fucking Comcast. To be honest with you. Anyways, we cover a variety of different topics, whether it be sports, movies, music, video games, anime, and anything like animation, Star Wars, things of that nature, right? We like to cast a wide net here at the 1v1 show. And the way the show is broken down is we start off with our main topics. Not our main topics. We start off with our subtopics, where we give you the quick hits, 2 minutes of smaller stories that we feel like you need to know about, or at least to us, we feel like most people would think are cool, you know? But after that, we get into our main topics where we give you kind of the meat and potatoes, a little bit more of a deeper dive into our main subjects, which usually we have 2 or 3, sometimes even 4 main topics for the week. Now, let me put this in chat real quick. If you support us, like what we do here, please follow us on our socials. We have our YouTube, our Instagram, and our Twitter there. And then we also have our Patreon there where you can throw us a few bucks if you want to support what we do on the show. So, and then if you go on the Patreon, you'll also see the different perks we have, the different special privileges you might have, where you might even be able to win some stuff. You'll be able to interact with the show more. You'll be able to pick topics and stuff that you want us to talk about here live on the show. So, without further ado, I also want to bring up that those of you who have been watching us, we've been at this for about, I want to say, no, less than a year.
Half
about
a year.
6 months. Half a year. Yeah, we've been at this for about half a year, and to our consistent viewers, to the people who have been checking us out, tuning in, I just want to say thank you so much for continuing to support us. As you can see, we're still trying to figure out this whole streaming thing, and technology is hard. But like I said, I want to reiterate our thank yous for all of you who tune in and watch us. All right. You good to go?
Okay,
Oh.
well, and I'm back.
What's up, Mikey?
I was waiting for you to bring me in, but you're like,
okay. Usually you're like, all right, I'm ready.
Yeah, I give it a thumbs up. You can see me.
No, I like literally the thing, like it stopped. I thought for a moment that you dropped signal again, because on Discord, it literally like I can't see the OBS anymore.
Wait, really?
Yeah.
Hold up.
Hold on. No, it's back.
Let me fix this again.
Oh my god, it's gone and then it came back.
No, because I stopped and then I restarted.
There we go. Okay.
Can you see me now?
We're there. Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Cool. Fucking technology today, man. Anyways, should we start with our first main topic? Oh, hold on. Before we get started, I want to show you something.
What?
All right. So, as you know, I am very much a big anime fan, right?
Okay. Yeah.
So I bought. My favorite show is One Piece. So I bought a figure of my favorite character. It's Nico Robin. This is my favorite character from One Piece, right?
Wow. Okay.
So I bought the figure, right?
Right.
And then 2 weeks later, my friend Nayeli was like, "Hey, I know you like One Piece. Check out this figure." And I bought the figure. And it wasn't until I got both the figures in stock, I was like, they're the same fucking figure, just in different colors. So, yeah.
You're a real collector.
I'm a real fucking weeb. But it is what it is. All right, let's move on to our first main topic.
So starting off with our first topic of the week, of the day actually, is Geo, starting with Legend of Zelda. Wait, where?
Okay. So
where's? Hold up, it's not even showing up. Oh, there it is.
There it is.
Wait a minute, that's Star Wars.
No, that's Star Wars.
Wait, I think I might have. Oh, that was the end of the trailer. Oops. Forgot to edit that part out. There it is.
There we go. All right, so for those of you who are big Zelda fans or maybe not in the know, Nintendo is coming out with a remake of the Wii entry, Legend of Zelda: Skyward Sword. They showed off a new trailer that has some quality of life changes that they made for the HD remake. The new trailer shows that there's a little character named Fee who gives you advice throughout the game, and they changed it to where the advice will only show up when you ask for it, making it less annoying. They also promised to run the game at 60 frames per second. They showed off, and the original was also at 30 frames per second. They also showed off the new control scheme where you can use just the Joy-Con. The original, the Wii one, used strictly motion for the sword play. Now you can just use it from the controller using the control sticks. And another quality of life thing is that the dialogue can be sped up with the touch of a button, increasing the game's pace, as well as being able to have skippable cutscenes. And then one of the biggest ones is that whenever you get a new item, before in the old Zelda games, it would stop and it would be like da 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 da. You gotta this, and this. So from now on in the game, you can have it where if you get a new item, it'll just say, oh, it won't even say anything. It won't stop the game, making the game a lot faster. One thing they didn't mention was the fast travel feature that is currently locked behind an amiibo that we talked about a few weeks ago. But they are making enough changes to where I feel like I want to play this game because I never played the original on the Wii. And I think it's, for those of you who are in for a Zelda fix, this is a good place to start playing this game because it is the first game in the Zelda timeline.
How many times have you played the original?
What's that?
How many times have you played the original?
The original Zelda? I never played the original. Or of this one.
Ever?
I've never played Skyward Sword.
Oh, okay, no. Same.
Yeah. So yeah, it is what it is. But anyways, we're moving on from Zelda, which is getting a kind of a big revival. And ComicCon is also getting a revival. Tell me about that, Mikey.
So with ComicCon, so it shouldn't come as a shock to hear that Disney's Marvel Studio films and any MCU series won't be showing up at ComicCon for this virtual edition, and neither will Warner Brothers DC films. So we still don't know if Sony Marvel titles like Spider-Man No Way Home or Venom or Morbius will make any kind of online splash with Comic-Con. And for Warner Brothers, it's the third year in a row where the studio is not gonna show up at Comic-Con. The last time they showed up there was in July 2018, marketing the movie Wonder Woman with Gal Gadot and director Patty Jenkins. But for the TV side, for Warner Brothers, they will have the DC's Legends of Tomorrow participating at the Comic-Con at Home virtual thing. And also, there's rumors that DC Publishing will have a presence at the San Diego Comic-Con for virtual edition. And given the pandemic, this will be the second year that Marvel's a no-go at Comic-Con. And Disney has been taking advantage of its investor days. So, like, if you remember, I think it was like a few months ago where they just announced everything during an investor call. And the last one was around December. And where they announced everything, like the Disney Plus series and all that stuff. But yeah, but the live edition of Comic-Con will be in November 26, 28. We talked about this, and it's going to be in person on Thanksgiving weekend. So it's still pretty early to see, or like we'll see if either Marvel Studios or Warner Brothers shows up by then. But when they were reached out for comment, they did not answer. So yeah, do studios need Comic-Con to market their films anymore because they have the power of the internet?
No, not anymore. I think Comic-Con is actually moving into a transition where it goes from the big Hollywood, like Marvel, to back to what it was before in like actual like comic books and smaller announcements. Like DC and Marvel will probably be there, but as far as their comic book sides, not the movies. I think nowadays it's kind of like E3 Comic-Con to where Marvel let's say Marvel and DC are like the Sonys and Xboxes, to where they say we don't need y'all anymore. We can just make our own days and our own announcements and have everything focused on us. So I think Comic-Con is just kind of
Yeah, I think it's on its way out.
not going to be the big. It's not going to be the big thing anymore. It's devolving in a sense, back
And
to what it was
also,
before.
Disney has a D23, that convention,
Oh yeah, that's true.
which I'm trying to go to when they have it public again. Oh, it's not public. You just need to be a member, but it's free, I think. But anyways,
Interesting.
speaking of Disney properties, or like Disney in general, Gio, tell me what's going on with ESPN.
Oh fuck, it's a fucking shit show, dog. So ESPN announced Tuesday that Rachel Nichols will not be part of the network's NBA Finals coverage as a sideline reporter. The announcement came 2 days after the New York Times published an audio recording of Nichols making disparaging comments about her colleague Maria Taylor. Now, just to kind of give you some hindsight, Mikey, or not hindsight, background details, Mikey. Rachel Nichols is a white woman. Maria Taylor is a black woman. And she said in the leaked call, she said, I wish Maria Taylor all the success in the world. She covers football. She covers basketball. If you need to give her more things to do because you are feeling pressure about your crappy long-time record on diversity, which, by the way, I know personally from the female side, like, go for it. Just find it somewhere elsewhere. You are not going to find it from me or taking my thing away. So this came from ESPN basically asking Rachel Nichols if instead of hosting the NBA Finals, if she wanted to have the sideline reporter job. And she did not like that at all. So some people are criticizing Rachel Nichols for basically calling Maria Taylor a diversity hire, but other people are defending Rachel Nichols by saying like she wasn't really saying anything bad about Maria Taylor. She was basically commenting on how ESPN is shitty with diversity. So how do you feel based on those comments, Mikey? Do you feel like she's actually disrespecting Maria Taylor by saying like she's just a diversity hire, or do you think she's more talking shit about ESPN
Oh
than
yeah,
Maria
that's
Taylor?
totally talking shit because you just diminished her role or like her occupation as a diversity hire. Like that label in general, like starting off with, is not good.
Yeah. And she actually was taken off of NBA's finals coverage in response to this. And she has a show on ESPN called The Jump, where they didn't air the Monday after this story broke. They didn't air her show, and then she
Damn.
commented on it the next day with some people basically having her back, but online, you know how things go online. People proceeded to track her. Yeah. So it is what it is. But we move on to the next topic. So we go from shitty diversity hire to Marvel that seems to be trying to be more diverse. Tell me about that, Mikey.
Well, with Marvel, I don't know if you've seen this week's trailer that they dropped for What If, but they showed a lot of new stuff in that trailer, alternate takes on dozens of characters that make up the interconnected universe of movies and shows in the MCU. And now we got our best look at the upcoming show in this trailer right here, which is set to debut on Disney Plus on August 11th. As the name implies, What If will showcase different versions of the MCU and answer questions like, what if Peggy Carter was chosen to get the super soldier serum instead of Steve Rogers? Or what if Yondu kidnapped T'Challa instead of Peter Quill when he came to Earth? And so, in addition to the slew of Marvel regulars What If, which is still considered part of the overarching MCU, despite its all-universe tales, which actually makes sense now because with Loki, it will also introduce Watu the Watcher, which is voiced by Jeffrey Wright, to the franchise as the show's narrator. So yeah, I think it's canon now. Like everything that is shown in What If trailer is pretty much canon with now that we know stuff in Loki exists, like the universes and all that. So I think all this stuff is canon in separate universes.
Yeah, I agree. I feel like Loki has kind of paved the way to like where all of these are separate universes that did exist, and they are canon in some sense that they aren't something that you can completely disregard.
And it would be crazy if just one of the Lokis would show up in the series and be like, oh shit, that's the universe that Loki's from.
I would bet on Gator Loki.
That would be so stealing, so stubborn. Like, especially his reactions, really good.
I love Diego Loki. He's my favorite. But we'll talk more about him later.
And so I don't know how to transition to this next topic, but oh wait, Captain America has a shield. We know what also has a shield? The hero who wields it. Tell me about Shield Hero.
I'm pretty sure I've told you about this anime, Mikey, but I don't know if you remember.
I don't remember.
Okay, so Shield Hero, I think is a pretty good anime. I think it's one of the better isekais. And for those of you who don't know what isekais are, it's a genre of anime where the main character gets transported to a different world. That's what it generally means, like in a new world. So the main character, Naofumi Iwatani, is an uncharismatic otaku who spends his days playing games and manga, and he got transported to a parallel universe where he is one of the 4 heroes equipped with a legendary weapon. And he finds out that he has the shield, which people consider the weakest of the heroes, and for some reason everybody hates him because as soon as he gets into the new world, he is soon alone, penniless, and betrayed, and no one turns to, and he's only left with his shield. And now he has to save the world. Really good anime. Highly recommend it. I think, Mikey, the first episode is an hour long. I would say give it a chance. Watch the first episode, and if it doesn't grab you then I would say just drop it. But if you are very intrigued with what's going on, it's worth a watch. So that was season 1, which is 25 episodes. The official website for the Rising of Shield Hero 2, the second season, has announced that the anime has been pushed back. It was originally going to premiere October 2021 this year, and now it is back to April 2022, which will stream alongside on Crunchyroll with the Japanese airing. Which honestly, this frustrates me. This was like my most anticipated of this year, even though I read the manga and I know what happens like going forward. Like I still wanted to see it animated, so I'm pretty. I don't want to say ticked off, but I'm just a little like, God damn it, like a little disappointed. But I do understand that Japanese animators, like that whole industry, it's a lot of crunch. Like even more so than like we hear about video games and the crunch industry we have here. Japanese animators have it a lot worse, from what I hear. So I'm not too mad, but at the same time, I was like, damn, I wish we had it. I wish we had it now, And speaking of shitty working conditions, Mikey, tell me about Amazon.
So yeah, Amazon spoke to Universal and said, "We're family." Because in another blockbuster streaming deal with a major movie studio, Amazon and Universal have closed a multi-year deal that's estimated to be in the 10-figure range. So under the pact, Prime Video will have an exclusive pay-one window for Universal's slate of live-action films in the US, starting with the studio's 2022 theatrical release slate. So this marks Prime Video's first exclusive US pay rights deal with a major movie studio. So like, think Disney Plus with Black Widow showing the movie on Disney Plus as well in theaters. That's what Amazon is trying to do with Universal films. So under the agreement, Prime Video will stream such upcoming Universal tentpoles such as Jurassic World, The Ambulance, and Blumhouse movies, Focus Features, and probably Fast and Furious, which are theatrically distributed by Universal, and will not go through the Peacock Amazon Pay 1 window as the company just extended its pact with Showtime Networks. And Amazon's free streaming service has secured an exclusive network window for... Oh wait, I just said all that. Yeah, so movies such as Dolittle, The Invisible Man, which I heard is good. Thing 2. Oh, which by the way, I'm excited for. And
I haven't seen the first
yeah.
thing. I heard it was good though.
You haven't seen the first one?
No.
Oh, like, I think you would like it. It's very... It ticks off some of your boxes.
Okay. You know what I think it was with Thing? Like, I kept seeing commercials for it, and it's just like, I don't want to watch this anymore because you keep showing it to me.
Yeah, the marketing for that one was pretty...
Pretty bad.
Yeah.
Pretty, like, a lot.
But you know what? Speaking of animated movies, what's going on with Disney?
All right, so Disney showed off a teaser trailer for their next major feature film called Encanto. It is their 60th animated feature, and this Columbia set film will follow family members who all possess magical powers like super strength, shape shifting, the abilities to control animals and plants. However, Mirabel, voiced by Brooklyn Nine-Nine star Stephanie Beatrice, is the only person to not possess a special gift. When she discovers that her family's magic might be under threat, she realizes that she is the only one to save it. The film is directed by Brian Howard and Jared Bush, co-directed and co-written by Charisse Castro Smith, and features music written by Lin-Manuel Miranda. Now, Lin-Manuel Miranda, is he like Disney's go-to guy for all things Latinx now?
Well, probably now, because at first it seemed like they were coming to him for all the music, and then all the Latinx stuff is like the cherry on top. That's what I'm taking it as.
Maybe I'm confusing. Well, actually, In the Heights wasn't Disney, right?
No, that was his
No.
passion project.
Okay. Yeah, I'm trying to think what else he's worked with Disney on, but no, you're right.
Moana?
He didn't do anything. He did do Moana. He didn't do anything for Coco, which was Pixar, but they're kind of like one and the same now. But anyways, did you watch the trailer, Mikey?
For Encanto?
Yeah.
Only from I didn't actually like watch the whole thing. I just saw what we put out here.
I'm pretty excited for it simply because it does show a different like side of Latino America, which is like South America, which is something that we haven't gotten since Emperor's New Groove, which was really based on Peru and kind of the Inca culture, but you don't really get it wasn't really much of a cultural thing. It was just kind of the backdrop, and then the jokes pretty much took center stage. But I'm excited for this. Anytime we kind of diversify like the different backgrounds from the Latin community. Like, Coco was obviously rooted in, Mexican lore, and this is Colombian lore. And, maybe one day we'll get something Central American, which I would love. But, we'll see. We'll see. So, we move from trying to think of a transition. So, in this movie, right, like the family has magical powers. And you know what else has magical powers? And Witchers. So, tell me about The Witcher.
Yeah, so... Oh, wait, I forgot to change the video, because when I was doing all this stuff,
the
live-action trailer didn't show up yet, and all I had was the episode title reveal list, which is right here. But anyways, they had a WitcherCon yesterday or 2 days ago, and they released a lot of details about The Witcher, and like season 2. So the show's upcoming second season will dish the multiple timelines and introduce other Witchers. Geralt is one of the several magically enhanced monster hunters within the show's universe. And it's adapted from a Polish author... Oh, I don't even know I don't want to butcher his name. But it follows the adventures of a monster hunter, Geralt of Rivia, played by Henry Cavill, aka Superman. Sorceress Yennefer, played by Anya Chalotra, and Princess Ciri, played by Freya Allan. While most of season 1 was episodic and jumped across multiple timelines, the season ended with Geralt and Ciri battling an army from the villainous Nilfgaardian Empire. And for the synopsis for season 2, it reads: Convinced Yennefer's life was lost at the Battle of Sardin, Geralt of Rivia brings Princess Cirilla to the safest place he knows, his childhood home of Kaer Morhen. While the continent's kings, elves, and humans and demons strive for supremacy outside its walls, he must protect the girl from something far more dangerous, the mysterious power she possesses inside. So I actually haven't played any of the Witcher games. My only exposure to Witcher is season 1. What about you, Gio? Have you seen it?
I played the first let's say the first 3-4 hours of The Witcher 3. And for some reason, I couldn't gel it with it. I really couldn't get into it. And I didn't watch the show. So, I mean, this is cool, but it's just not something I'm interested in. Maybe when I play more of the game, I'll be sure to get more into it. But as of right now, my interest is like, it is what it is. It's cool.
Yeah. And to add on top of this news, since they had WitcherCon yesterday, apparently The Witcher, the TV show, is talking about CD Projekt Red, and so there might there is some DLC, I think, I think they announced that actually.
Oh, interesting.
And then there's other stuff going on with The Witcher. I forgot. I didn't have the notes, or I didn't write that in my notes. But yeah, there's a lot of stuff going on with The Witcher. So if you're a Witcher fan, December 17th, season 2 is when it's happening. And then speaking of like fantastical type series, let's talk about Final Fantasy. Gio, what's going on with that?
Hell yeah, let's fucking go. So the second best Final Fantasy game is to be animated, and if you were to ask me, if you were to ask my top 5 Final Fantasy games, it would go in this order. It'd go 6, 9, 7, 8. No, 6, 9, 7, 4, then 8. So I'm fucking excited. Final Fantasy 9 is going to be animated. Square Enix announced that it is being adopted into an animated series aimed at kids and teens, produced by Cyber Group Studios, announced Tuesday. The Final Fantasy 9 animated series is described as an adventure animation series primarily aimed at 13-year-old kids and family audiences to respect co-viewing. So, yeah, they're aiming it for kids, but Final Fantasy 9 is one of the more lighthearted compared to like 7 or 8. It's a little bit more fantastical, where I see they could adapt this into a more kid-friendly show. I think if they hit kind of the same tone that like Avatar: The Last Airbender had, I think they'll have something special here. Because Final Fantasy 9, even though it is more lighthearted, it does cover a lot of deeper topics, like what is the meaning of life, what does morality mean, death, war, betrayal. So if they do hit that Avatar: The Last Airbender kind of tone and vibe, I think it will be something special. They haven't announced a release window, so we don't know when it's going to be coming out. But the studio who's making it makes CGI shows like Gigantosaurus, My Goldfish is Evil, Moret Investigators, which doesn't really speak too much of a good track record. But we'll see what they do. I mean, it's a French-based studio, so we'll see what they come up with. But I'm excited because I love Final Fantasy 9. I hope they don't ruin it. And yeah. Have you played Final Fantasy 9, Mikey?
No, I haven't. The
Have
first,
you played any
I
Final
only
Fantasy?
played 8 and then 10. I think, yeah, those are the only ones I played. I am
Like, did you complete them?
8, yes. 10, I think so.
Dude,
That was
I
way back
love
then. I don't have no memory.
I love 8, but the story is very fucking convoluted as fuck. And then
Yeah,
10,
8
I
was
like
my first
10,
Final
but
Fantasy.
yeah, that is par for the course. I like 10 too, but not as much as some of the other ones. But hopefully they don't fuck this up. But a guy that a lot of people feel like fucks a lot of things up, but I don't necessarily feel like it's entirely his fault, is Zack Snyder. So what's going on with him?
So after all of that, Snyder finally has his next project, which is an epic sci-fi fantasy titled Rebel Moon, that he is co-writing and will direct and produce for Netflix, the home of his recent hit Army of the Dead, which I still need to watch. So for Rebel Moon, the story is set in motion when a peaceful colony on the edge of the galaxy is threatened by the armies of a tyrannical regent named Belisarius. Desperate, the colonists dispatch a young woman with a mysterious past to seek out warriors from neighboring planets to help them make a stand. And that sounds a little familiar. Rebel Moon found its origins in a Star Wars pitch the filmmaker developed a decade ago. So this was Zack Snyder's idea for a Star Wars story, but it's not going to be Star Wars. And it was a more mature take on a universe created by George Lucas, and didn't move beyond meaningful conversations after the Walt Disney Company acquired Lucasfilm in 2012. And at one point, Zack Snyder, and Newman, who is behind Narcos and Narcos Mexico, went down the path of making it into a series. So Rebel Moon will be another hoped-for franchise for Netflix, which is building its arsenal in the age of streaming wars. And they hope to begin production in early 2022. And he said, I've been working on this side for so long. It's pretty far along, though, the process. So, I don't know. How do you feel about directors trying to make a franchise with a movie instead of like a standalone story?
I think it's definitely a clear influence of Marvel. And I think if the director has a vision, it could, I mean, it could go to one of two ways, right? Like you could see something that actually pans out if the first movie's good and they have a clear vision, or like it could just be a fucking jumbled mess and now the story's incomplete and no one gives a fuck.
Yeah,
So
like
I
they
think
don't want to have another Golden Compass or Warcraft, because remember those were supposed to be big tentpole franchises, but no one cared about those.
or even like the Mummy reboot that was supposed to be the Dark Universe and no one really
Oh,
gave a shit.
dude, yeah, dude, they marketed that so hard as
Yeah.
a Dark Universe thing, and then yeah, we only got Benicio del Toro as Wolfman and the Mummy. That was it, right?
We got the Invisible Man, but I feel like that was kind of
Oh yeah.
disconnected from the Dark Universe stuff. So
hmm
yeah.
But speaking of studios trying new stuff, sometimes they might be getting accused, like Mappa. What's going on with them?
Okay, so Studio Mappa, who was behind I think the latest season of Attack on Titan as well as Jujutsu Kaisen, they released a statement on Wednesday to address recent discussions about the company's one of their unannounced productions that has been shared and discussed in ways that invite misunderstanding. Animator Ippei Ichi asserted earlier this month that Mappa was offering severely low rates for animators in the company working on a Netflix anime, with Mappa supposedly offering 3,800 yen, which translates to $34 per cut. He laid the blame on Netflix for such low rates, saying that for all the exorbitant amount of capital that Netflix has, it's a problem that they started to place orders with such a low rate. There's a possibility the prices are even low than a TV series. Also, another a freelance animator criticized Mappa. Well, they said they laughed Mappa due to factory-like conditions. They criticized their decision to work on 4 shows at the same time instead of properly training its team, so that such of the corrections won't be necessary. And as far as I can tell, about 80% of the employees had similar complaints at the time. Studio Mappa said in a statement on Wednesday that the anime that they were working on is not but ordered by a major platform, but the latest in the work of an existing TV series which already was in planning. And Mappa offered the upcoming anime for distribution to a major platform with production beginning after a sale price and then the budget of the film was finalized. They also pushed back on the fact that they have factory conditions because there was pictures shown off of their kind of working environment, and they said basically that it looked really bare, the pictures of the studio, but they said they had Mappa says that they had a quote unquote open environment for animators to pretty much create their own space and be free with their creativity or some bullshit like that. But everyone knows that the anime industry in Japan has a problem with overworking and as well as low rates for their animators, which leads to a lot of a lot of shitty adaptations. And honestly, just pay your animators more. Y'all make hella money. Just pay your animators more. And to be honest, like the fact that they described it as a factory-like condition makes it seem like a real horror to work at. And speaking of horror, Mikey, tell me of A24 Horror.
So you know that logo that you see in the beginning of a bunch of artsy horror movies? Well, they have a movie in the 2021 Cannes Film Festival, which is ongoing right now. And one of the films playing this year in the in certain regard section is Lamb, which is an Icelandic thriller starring Numi Rapace as the adoptive mother of a half-human, half-sheep child. You heard that right. The film is set to premiere at the festival on July 13th, but the indie horror distributor A24 has already acquired the North American rights, and now we have a look at the first international teaser right there. And the synopsis reads: in Lamb, a childless couple in rural Iceland make an alarming discovery one day in their sheep barn. They soon face the consequences of defying the will of nature in this dark and atmospheric folktale. And that's all it said. It's pretty weird and interesting. And for those who aren't really familiar with A24, horror, you might have seen their movies if you're a horror fan. You might have seen Hereditary, The Witch, otherwise known as The VVH, or The Lighthouse. I haven't seen that one. Midsummer was starring Florence Pugh, which she's a scene stealer in Black Widow, but we'll talk about that later. And Green Room, Under the Skin, or Enemy, which is one of the craziest endings I've seen in a movie. I don't know, I mean, kind of exaggerating, but also not. And yeah, have you seen any A24 horror films besides Midsummer, Gio?
Was it Follows one of them?
Oh yeah, it is. Wait,
yeah,
I think. But yeah, I'm pretty sure it is.
But I think you showed me that one. But other than that, I don't think so.
Yeah, A24 is known for like their artsy films.
Yeah, I haven't seen Hereditary. I think that was one of them. And then I haven't seen, what's the other one you mentioned? The Lighthouse. I haven't seen that one either. So
yeah,
there's a lot. I don't really watch horror, to be honest with you. Like, it's just not that I'm scared, but like I never find any. I hardly find. What's the word? Like, romance? Horror films are really, the genre itself to me can be really boring. But I think A24, they do come up with some cool ideas that are like, okay, like this is pretty good. Like I really like Midsummer. I thought it was a cool take on the horror film. So
dude, yeah, that's a fucked up movie.
It was a fucked up movie. Wait, no, I don't think this was A24. Maybe I'm tripping. I was like, is Mother A24?
Anyways,
but I don't think so.
No. Oh yeah, no.
Like,
but
no.
Yeah, a lot of people don't want to watch horror movies because they just want to watch something else as a form of escapism, like football and sports. Tell us about that, Gio.
Football. So we got two big tournaments this weekend. Today, let's start off with the game today. Today we have eternal rivals Brazil and Argentina. They will meet in the Copa America final on Saturday. It is a dream showdown between the two premier teams, putting former Barcelona teammates Lionel Messi and Neymar against each other, with Brazil trying to win their second consecutive cup, while Argentina seeks their first since 1993. And the spotlight will be on the two stars, Messi and Neymar, who have been the tournament standout performers as they wage their reputation and their legacies on the line with the win of a major international title. Now, Mikey, I'm not sure if you watch much of soccer.
I don't.
Brazil and Argentina are consistently powerhouses as far as national teams in the world rankings. They're always threatening to win the World Cup, and pretty much there's two of the three teams, only non-European teams to ever win the World Cup. So Brazil has won, I believe, 4 or 5, and Argentina has won.
Didn't they get embarrassed last World Cup?
2 World Cups ago, they got embarrassed by Germany. Germany spanked the shit out of them.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
Argentina, I think, has won 3, and Uruguay has won it once, but I'm not really sure. Someone in chat correct me if I'm wrong. Anyways, we also have a major European tournament with the British and the Italians facing off on Sunday for the UEFA Euro League, where for England it's their first shot at winning a major title since the 1966 World Cup, and for Italy it's a chance of redemption after failing to qualify for the last World Cup. And Italy has only won the Euros once, and England has never won it before, and they will be contesting their first tournament final in Euro history. So we have a couple big soccer games coming up: Italy versus England, Argentina versus Brazil. Personally, I'm rooting for England on Sunday, and I'm rooting for Argentina today because, yeah, man, it is what it is. It's going to be magical. And speaking of magical, and speaking of European, what's going on with Disneyland, Mikey?
So over at Disneyland Paris, fast passes or tickets that let you skip ride lines at the Disney theme parks have historically been free to parkgoers starting this summer. However, Disneyland Paris will retire its complimentary FastPass program and start charging those who wish to have quicker access to attractions. The vacation spot located in Chessy, France, announced on Tuesday that it will soon launch the Disney Premier Access program. According to the theme park, the new service will help parkgoers enjoy the ability to skip regular queue line for thrill rides, classic attractions, and more. For some cash money. A new free service called Standby Pass, which virtually holds a spot in ride lines while you walk around the theme park, is also being introduced. Whoa, that's the first time I'm reading this. That is amazing. The Disneyland Paris website states that visitors can use the Premier Access program via an app on their phones or by visiting locations within the park. They'll have to book an assigned time slot for the attraction they wish to visit and then pay approximately $9 and 18. Wait, what? $9 or 18 per person. That's a weird sentence. But prices will change depending on the attraction and the day, according to the website. Walt Disney World News Today reported that the initial attractions featured in the Premier Access program will be Big Thunder Mountain, Hyperspace, Peter Pan's Flight, Buzz Lightyear, Star Tours, Autopia, Twilight Zone Tower of Terror, which doesn't exist in America anymore, unfortunately, and Ratatouille. Ooh, I still want to write that. But yeah, so the reason I brought this up is because they might be implementing this in Anaheim in the future, and they're just testing this out. So pretty much, if you want to skip the line, it's going to be behind a paywall. Otherwise, if you don't want to pay, you can just wait in line for hours on end. How do you feel about this, Gio?
I think it's some bullshit, but Disney going Disney. They're going to find every way to monetize everything of that theme park. Especially now people are so starved for theme parks because of COVID being shut down. I think they feel like, oh, let's just introduce shit like this because people haven't been to theme parks in a while and they probably would pay more. So hopefully they don't introduce that here in Anaheim or in Florida. They don't bring it to the States. But I think it's some bullshit. What do you think?
It is kind of bullshit, but they kind of already had something like this at Anaheim with Max Pass, which already $10. So I forgot the specifics of how that works. But I'm really excited for the Standby Pass, where virtually holds your spot in line while you walk around the theme park. Because, dude, spending half your, I would say 40% of your time spent at Disneyland, if you go in the summer, will be spent waiting and standing in the line. And with the Standby Pass, where it holds your spot in line, as you can do other stuff around the park and get more things in the day, that's really exciting, but I don't know how it will work over here though. Anyways,
bullshit.
Because like once you're at Disneyland, you want to be super fast and keep things going, get the most out of your day. But speaking of trying to be super fast, like a certain character like Sonic, what's going on with him?
So Sega announced that they are creating a Ultimate Edition of Sonic Colors, which was a Wii game. They're coming out with Sonic Colors Ultimate, which shows off they came out with a trailer that shows off the HD improvements. Various gameplay clips have been shared to show off the Blue Blur's interstellar adventure, but now they're coming up with new additions, such as a Metal Sonic Rivals Rush mode, where you'll be able to race your Metal's doppelganger to earn rewards that previously weren't unlockable. And they added park tokens, which can be found to buy new gloves and shoes for Sonic, letting you customize Sonic's looks as well as his capabilities. You're able to tweak his boosts and add various auras to tweak things further. And they've also shown the Jade Ghost Whip and Tail Save features, which are basically a new superpower and a new autosave ability. And they announced that with 100 rings, you can now gain invincibility and a score bonus during the time, and you can also customize a little like theme park hub that they have, and they have new remixes to the soundtrack, which I gotta say I didn't play this on Wii, so it makes me enticed to play this because from what I hear from a lot of people, that Sonic Colors is actually the best 3D Sonic game. Because Sonic doesn't necessarily have the best track record. There's a lot of like really shitty 3D Sonic games that fans basically were like, "Yo, this shit is trash." Like Sonic has had trouble adjusting ever since the Dreamcast days, because I think while we look back fondly on games like Sonic Adventure for the Dreamcast, if you go back and try to play it now, like, it's pretty rough. So, yeah, I'm excited to play this. What about you, Mikey? Were you into Sonic at all? Did you play any 3D games?
Yeah, I played Sonic a lot on the PC back in the day. I forgot which version I had. I'm pretty sure it's like one of the first 2 or 3. But yeah, and I would play Sonic with the joystick.
Oh, interesting.
It was, yeah, like that was my experience with Sonic, like my first experience. And I thought that's how you play it. But turns out I was just playing it on hard mode as a child.
That does sound fucking difficult. Holy shit. You probably had the Sonic. You probably had the collection, because I had that same one for PC too, where it had like the first 3 games.
But yeah, I think that's what it was.
But yeah, we're moving on from one action hero to another. What's up with Chris Pratt?
So that Tomorrow War that's been the marketing's been shoving down our throats. I mean, for me, it has. Well, it's getting a sequel. Because in response to this past week's hugely successful global streaming debut of The Tomorrow War, Skydance and Amazon Studios are in discussions to develop another sequel. Or not another sequel, a sequel to the Chris Pratt sci-fi epic. Discussions are in place to bring the whole creative gang back, both in front of and behind the camera, including the director, Chris McKay, and screenwriter, Zach Dean. And even the stars, Chris Pratt, Yvonne Strahovski, Betty Gilpin, Sam Richardson, Edwin Hudds, and Oscar winner J.K. Simmons, who I had no idea was in this movie. So when he appeared, I was like, "Oh shit, it's J. Jonah Jameson." But yeah, Paramount is also involved in a sequel. The studio originally tasked to distribute the first film theatrically. The global sci-fi actioner launched on July 2nd around the world, exclusively on Prime Video, in over 240 countries, and debuted at #1 across streaming platforms over the weekend. The film ranks as the biggest live-action streaming movie of the summer, starting with Screen Engine's post-VOD summer reporting. Oh wait, what the fuck? That was weird. But yeah, so I actually watched this movie in the past week, and I'll say it's like if Independence Day, Armageddon, Battleship all had a baby and then didn't live up to any of them, it would be this movie. Chris Pratt is proof that mediocre white dudes will always succeed in Hollywood. LMFAO, just arc in the whack. Yeah, Chris Pratt in this movie was way too serious, in my opinion. And then, like, his friend was the comedic portion. Was actually, he did a good job. But then, like, the juxtaposition of everyone's, like, effort into the roles was so, like, off-putting and weird. And it felt like the film took itself way too seriously. It's a popcorn movie where you turn your brain off. Much like the Fast and Furious movies. But for movie or things that you can't turn your brain off when you have to really think and analyze, such as Hideo Kojima's projects. What's going on with those?
All right, so Hideo Kojima has just it was reported by VentureBeat that Kojima has made and Microsoft have signed a letter of intent that states that the two parties intend to work out details on a publishing agreement for a new Xbox game, according to sources familiar with the matter. The key step in basically having them have a partnership where the next game that Kojima makes will be pretty much an Xbox exclusive. They spent months discussing a possible partnership, and now that the deal is closed, Microsoft announced that it has hired Portal and Left 4 Dead developer Kim Swift to oversee partnerships for cloud-based games. Now, Kojima has also made comments that his next game will be somehow based in the cloud. And this Kim Swift person, they recently worked on Stadia, which was Google's cloud servicing game. So, does this mean that possibly a lot of people are going to jump ship to Xbox because Kojima is making a new game? We'll see. I mean, I think the common standard is that or not common consensus is that Death Stranding was very much a divisive game where some people really loved it and other people were like, this isn't what I wanted at all. It's just a fucking walking sim. I haven't played it. I'd be willing to give it a shot, especially with, we see the director's cut coming out, which we probably might go a little bit more in detail later. But I don't know. You have Death Stranding, Mikey, but you haven't played it yet, right?
Yeah, like I haven't gotten around to it because like I know it's a game that like I need to mentally prepare myself for, and I'm not mentally prepared yet. And knowing that there's a director's cut now, I'll wait for when that comes out. Which, by the way, so it's not going to be the norm now. Like, our game's going to be releasing director's cut now because Hideo Kojima, of all people, legitimized this practice. Is this something that we're going to be seeing?
I think especially on the Sony side, we're going to see a lot of this. Like, the rumors we heard about a Last of Us remake for the PS5, even though they already remastered it for the PS4. Like, I could see them, this is how they justify that. They'll say, oh, this is Last of Us 1, the director's cut. And
what the fuck was the first game then? Was that not the director's cut?
Or like the remake. Like, they're going to release this game 3 times and people will buy it. Because people are stupid. And I'll never get a Gravity Rush 3 because of you fucking people. Anyways, let's move on from one visionary to another visionary. Well, I guess, could you call Conor McGregor a visionary?
Not really. He hasn't predicted any of his wins in over 3 years.
Oh, well then, a former visionary then. Let's go. Tell me about what's up with Conor McGregor.
So Conor McGregor's actually fighting today. Dustin Poirier. Let's see on the card. This is going to be the 3rd fight in the trilogy. And it's going to be a good one because I actually not sure who will win. Because Dustin Poirier, he knocked out Conor McGregor in the last fight. And in the first fight, Conor McGregor TKO'd Dustin Poirier in the first fight. So they're both 1-1 and it's a rubber match. And here's my predictions. And, by the way, if you notice in the last UFC thing where I had predictions, I went 3 for 3. I predicted Brandon Moreno will get the belt, Israel Adesanya, and Leon Edwards, who beat Nate Diaz. And they all won. And here are my predictions for tonight's card. So I think Dustin Poirier is going to win. Stephen Thompson in the co-main, and Irene Aldana. They're all on the main card. So yeah, those are my 3 picks for tonight. And so yeah, I'm actually going to put money on that. So hopefully they all win. And that's going to be. Also on the card is going to be Sugar Sean O'Malley, who's an up and comer, who the UFC is trying to push really, really hard. And so I don't know, we'll see. And then there's former title contenders like Carlos Condit, who has multiple Fight of the Night awards. So that's going to be a show. And also another former title contender, Jessica Ai, is main eventing the prelims, which is happening in about 3 hours.
Nice.
So yeah, I'm pretty excited because I'm a huge MMA fan over like all other sports. And I'm going to be watching tonight. And I might be doing live commentary on stream, maybe. We'll see how tonight goes. Because I'm actually going over to your place to party.
Yeah.
But, and while I'm over at your place, I might even see your Nintendo Switch. But speaking of Nintendo, Gio, tell us what's going on with Nintendo.
God damn. So if you want to know what pissed off the internet the most this week, this was definitely it. Nintendo announced not a Pro Switch model, but a OLED model. They revealed a new Nintendo Switch model with a larger OLED touchscreen, and a new dock, as well as a new color scheme with also enhanced audio, a LAN port, and a better kickstand. And it will release October 8th for $349.99, so $50 more than the regular Switch. Now, why the internet was so pissed about this is because, well, one, there is no improvement as far as the processing power or anything power-wise to help the Nintendo Switch run games at better frame rates, or anything that produces in 4K. Even though we've been hearing rumors for months now, shit, even years now, of a Nintendo Switch Pro that would be 4K and it would have more processing power to be able to, play games at closer to what Sony and Xbox have been producing. So,
Wait, so were
I don't know.
those rumors? Did they have like legit backing on this, or were those just straight up rumors that people made up?
No, there was a lot of people who had a good track record who were backing up those rumors. And in fact, even today, some people say, like, well, I think we're still going to get a Nintendo Switch Pro, but it won't be till next year. Honestly, I don't fucking know. Trying to fucking pick out or trying to predict what Nintendo does is one of the most head-ass things I can think of, because they literally make the weirdest fucking decisions at all times. Like, you're better off fucking picking... You're better off trying to win the lottery than trying to predict Nintendo, to be honest with you. That being said, will I buy this? Maybe. I'm thinking about it, because what I'm thinking is I always wanted to have one Switch on the go and one Switch just docked at home, so that I can just take one, and if I could connect both systems to where my saves and my games are pretty much shared between the two systems, then I'll probably do that. But I don't know what the connection, how that works, if you're able to connect it. And I think that information is out there now because of the Switch Lite. So we'll see. We'll see if I feel like spending $350 in October.
Zombie Bay in the chat says, don't. There's no synergy between the systems.
No, I remember there was a way you can do it. There was, because people did that for the Nintendo Switch Lite. But I'll look more into it later. But yeah, there's zero. No, dog. I've seen a fucking article on it. Like, there is a way to do it, but it's not like there is a way to do it. In fact, I'm gonna look it up right now. Nintendo Switch to Switch Lite connection. Anyways, while I'm looking that up, Mikey, tell me about Star Wars.
So, with Star Wars, while Disney is full steam ahead with The Mandalorian and its assortment of spin-off shows and other live-action projects for the streaming service, little has been known about the previously announced Star Wars Visions until now. Described as only as an original series of animated short films, the Star Wars galaxy through the lens of the world's best Japanese anime characters will set for release sometime in 2021. And we finally received our first real look at the mysterious series thanks to this special look right there, released this past weekend in conjunction with the 2021 Anime Expo. In addition to conveying the tone and style of what to expect from this anthology series, there's quite a few newsworthy tidbits stuffed inside this 3-minute clip. There are tons of new concept art and even some glimpses of actual footage. Several anime studios will be tackling each story using their signature animation and storytelling styles to realize their own visions of the galaxy far, far away. And the list of studios are as follows. Kamikaze Duga will be doing the Duel. Whoa. Geno Studio, Twin Engine, doing Lock and Knock. I'll list the studios. Studio Colorado and Trigger Studios, Kinema Citrus, Science Saru, and Production IG. To be honest, I'm not a weeb like you are, so these companies don't really
think their animation style would look. I think I'm interested to see what it would look like with Star Wars, with that kind of what's the word I'm looking for? With that
aesthetic.
That aesthetic. I'm really interested in the studio that does JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, because it's a very, very, very unique animation style. So we'll see how that looks. Also, the studio doing Devilman Crybaby and Ride Your Wave, that's gonna be interesting. I'm actually pretty excited. I might check this out because all these look really cool. Made in Abyss, that anime looks fucking gorgeous. So yeah, I'm excited with the studios that they picked. Also, suck my fucking dick, I found it. There is a way to link both of them. Anyways,
But well, add on to the Star Wars news. Wait, first off, Disney Star Wars Visions coming out on Star Wars not Star Wars, September 22nd on Disney Plus, and they're also going to have a Star Wars Visions novel, which will follow a wandering samurai Sith, which is super interesting. The synopsis is a mysterious former Sith wanders the galaxy in a stunning Star Wars tale, an original novel inspired by the world of the duel from the Star Wars Visions animated anthology. So I'm super interested in that. It's like, I don't know. It's like I can't think of the word. But you know what? Let's just go to our main topic. Should we start off with? Loki, Black Widow, or State of Play?
Let's do it backwards from how I have it on the thing. So let's start with State of Play, then move into Loki, and then Black Widow.
Okay, so Black Widow will be our main event. So starting off with our main topics, where we spend more than 2 minutes. It's been actually 10 minutes. Starting now. So Gio, what happened with this week's State of Play?
All right, so they showed off a 30-minute State of Play that they said they pre-planned us saying they weren't going to show off any first-party major games. There was going to be no Horizon, no God of War, and nothing else. So they showed off first the thing that you were hyped about, Moss Book 2, which is VR, which is a
Amazing.
VR game.
I'm so hyped. Like the first Moss game on PSVR is one of the best, I would say, gaming experiences. I want to say like best games I've ever played, but the experience of playing that game, it's so good, especially in VR. Well, it's a VR game. But anyways, go on.
Yeah, I haven't played Moss, but it's definitely one of the VR games that I definitely seem more interested in, because it does have kind of like Redwall, which is one of my favorite like book series as a kid. They definitely has that kind of same aesthetic and same vibe. They also showed off Arcadegeddon, a PS5 shooter that is out in early access. That's developed by the studio that made Predator, Hunting Grounds. It's kind of whatever. A quick look at Hunter's Arena, which is a battle royale already available on Steam, coming to PS4, PS5. Kind of whatever on that. Tribes of Midgard and its post-launch bits and pieces of Season 1. They showed off a new rune system. I mean, I've seen a lot of this game during E3s, like a Viking game that looks cool. It's whatever. Sifu, which we both saw beforehand, and we were both pretty hyped about, Mikey. But how do you feel about it being delayed to early 2022?
I mean, I wasn't like super excited. Like, oh, I want to play that game ASAP. I can wait because I have a huge backlog already.
Yeah, I felt the same way. I do want to play it because the mechanic of like every time you die, you get older. Seems pretty interesting. Like, what if you get to like 104? What the fuck happens then? So, nah. Then they had Jet the Far Shore, which is a space adventure coming from Super Brothers. They showed off Fist Forged in the Shadow, which I gotta be honest with you. I was pretty hyped when I first saw that trailer because for a minute in my head I was like, "Yo, is this like a new Jazz Jackrabbit game?" And if you don't know who Jazz Jackrabbit is, it's basically one of those like platforming games from the '90s that was kind of like trying to capitalize on what's the word I'm looking for? Like everyone was trying to get the next Sonic, the next Mario, and it was very much in kind of like the lower tier of like Bubsy and Croc and Gex and stuff like that, where it's basically become a meme. But it wasn't. It's its own thing called Forge in the Shadow Torch, where you play as this kind of souped up rabbit, and it looks dope as fuck. I'm excited for that. Then they showed off the Demon Slayer game for PS4 and PS5, and I think you said you were very much like, "Yo, that looks dope." I was like, "Yeah, it looks cool as fuck. It looks a lot like the show." But a lot of those games, they're kind of like the Naruto games, where honestly, I'd wait till they're like $20 to get them. They're never really.
Yeah, I haven't played any of the Naruto games, and it was pretty much the same vibe. So yeah, like I'm not trying to play that on day one. And plus, I haven't actually even seen Demon Slayer. I've been meaning to.
Then we got a good look at the Yakuza spinoff, Lost Judgment. What do you think of Lost Judgment, Mikey?
Like
the Yakuza spinoff.
Is that a sequel in a franchise?
It's
right?
so it's a sequel to the game Judgment, which came out, I want to believe, on the PS4, which in itself is like a side story to the Yakuza series. So Yakuza, obviously, you deal with the main characters in the Yakuza and deal with kind of a crime drama like that. Judgment is a spin-off where you take the role of, I don't remember the main character's name, but you basically play on the other side of the law. Now you're a detective trying to solve crimes.
Yeah, I haven't played any of those games, but
I feel
this
like
interests
this
me. But
one is,
also, the graphics seem very early PS4, if you know what I mean.
yeah. It definitely doesn't look as sharp as the last game in the Yakuza series, like a dragon. Definitely doesn't look as sharp. But I think a lot of the what I like about the Yakuza games is the gameplay is really like random, and it's a game known for like all the menial and weird shit you can do in it. Like for example, I played
Hmm.
Yakuza 0, and you can like go bowling, race slot cars. There's a you can run a cabaret club, you can run a real estate business. You come across all these like wacky tales that are in the backdrop of this like really serious crime drama. So, it seems interesting to me. Anyways, they ended up showing us 10 minutes of Deathloop. Oh, wait, hold on. No, I almost skipped one. Death Stranding Director's Cut, which I kind of talked about earlier. It comes out the 24th of September, and they have new story missions, new guns, and a racing mode, which is kind of fucking weird. But,
Wait, did
I
we
mean, we
talk about
kind
the
of.
upgrade path?
What's that?
The upgrade path for the director's cut?
Oh, yeah. You said it was $10 more?
Well, for PS4 owners who have a PS5, if you want to get the PS5 upgrade to the PS5 version, it's $10 instead of free, like how Spider-Man did.
Yeah, Spider-Man, or I think Final Fantasy 7 Remake also did that, where if you have the PS4 version, you had to pay extra for the DLC. Everyone did,
Hmm.
but the if you wanted to just play the revamped version of the game, then that was free. So, like we talked
Yeah,
about, like the
and
director's
Hideo
cut is like,
Kojima just fucked all that up.
yeah. So we'll see. People also like were like seriously mad about the Ghost of Tsushima director's cut upgrade path too. But I feel like at least that one has like a
Yeah,
brand new like DLC like area, like a whole ass new area with a whole ass side story. So I think that kind of justifies it a little bit more.
freaking Hideo.
Anyways, they also concluded with a deep dive into Deathloop, and I don't know about you, Mikey, but I was already fucking sold on Deathloop. That game is already like up my alley. I'm already in. Like I'm already gonna play
Yeah,
this.
same.
They didn't really need to. They didn't need to deep dive into this. Like they've been showing
Yeah,
this game
like
off for like what 3 years now.
yeah, what are they doing differently from Cyberpunk? Because Cyberpunk had a lot of marketing, but it was like we wanted more marketing or stuff. But with Deathloop, it's kind of like too much now.
Very much, yeah. Like you didn't have to. They didn't have to do this. Like honestly, they didn't have to spend 10 minutes on Deathloop because like I said, I'm already going to play the game. And they didn't really they gave us like a gameplay demo, but there's certain things in the games like how the rival assassin, like how could it be either controlled by AI or another player. They didn't really go into depth on how that's going to work. So I feel like we saw more, but we didn't really get any more answers. It's like, yeah, we already know the game looks cool. I already know how the basic gameplay and the story works. So I'm not sure what the purpose of this was. I mean, yeah, maybe to hype us more, or because it got pushed back to get people to remember the game. But honestly, I didn't need to see this.
Yeah,
It
didn't
wasn't needed.
they bring this up like every time they have a thing, like a state of play or whatever?
Yeah, it's like don't forget about Deathloop. Like, no, we haven't, but y'all seem to be
Yeah, and then
forgetting.
like, oh, by the way, did you forget about Deathloop? Here's a 10-minute video on Deathloop. Like,
Yeah,
I didn't need to see that. I just need to just give me like a 2-minute trailer of new footage and I'm good.
exactly. Or even just kind of like a little bit of like how the mechanics work, like that rival assassin thing. Like, give me like I said, a 2 minute video on that, and I'm good.
Yeah, instead they
But
give us 10 minutes of like Deathloop. Don't forget about it. It's going to be cool.
exactly. I mean, what I thought the whole state of play was kind of meh. Like I know they kind of set expectations that it wasn't like I knew it wasn't gonna be like gangbusters, but honestly, like it was something that I didn't really. Well, I didn't watch it live, but it's something that I felt like if I watched it live, I would have been a little bit more like, yeah, why did I waste my time on this?
Yeah, for me as a PSVR player, they started off with the banger with Moss 2, and none of the titles afterwards lived up to Moss 2 for me. So it was a little underwhelming.
Yeah, I would agree. It is very much underwhelming. But do you think that, Mikey, that this is the last we'll see of Sony having a showcase? Do you think we'll eventually get a big E3 blowout with like the games for the end of the year and for next year?
I mean, wait, are they talking about E3? They are, right?
What's that? No, they didn't show up at
Oh,
E3.
they already did. They did. Oh yeah, never mind. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe.
I don't know, because I feel like if they're gonna release Horizon, they need to tell us a date if they're gonna release it this year. And they still barely
that's
show.
right.
Like when they said they pushed back God of War, fucking surprising no one. Like no shit. I know shit God of War was gonna be fucking next year. Like they showed us nothing, not even a fucking title. So it is what it is. You want
They
to
showed
move
us
on
a
to the next?
circle.
What's that?
They showed us a circle.
Yeah, exactly. That's all they showed us. Yeah. All right. Anyways, do you want to move on to the
All
next
right,
story?
let's go to Loki, and yeah, I watched it like the Tuesday night, so it's been a while since I've seen it. But refresh my memory on that.
All right. So, spoiler alert, Mikey. If you want to put the timer on, for those of you who haven't seen Loki.
10-minute spoiler warning. Actually,
Spoiler
well,
alert.
are you going to
All
talk
right.
spoilers the entire time? Actually, yeah, fuck it, let's do it.
Yeah, we'll do spoilers for this one. We won't do spoilers for Black Widow, but we'll do spoilers for Loki. So we see Loki getting introduced to. What did you think at the beginning? You see Kid Loki, Old Loki, Black Loki, and Gator Loki.
I thought it's like, oh, I was really interested in seeing how they ended up there, but did they really explain it? I don't think they did.
So the Loki that's a black man. Did you notice that he had a hammer?
I
Is
didn't
that most?
realize
Is
that
he
until you
worthy?
told me that last night, and I was like, oh shit, he did have the hammer.
Yeah, I was like, is he worthy? Like what? Like, but then he also betrayed. But he also betrayed the other Lokis, which we'll get into later. So maybe I don't know. Like what form of trickery is this? Maybe he has a different kind of hammer. I don't know. I don't think it's Thor's hammer. I did like the kind of like the backlog that or the throwaway line that the kid Loki was the leader because he's the one that killed Thor in his timeline. Which I was like, oh shit, that's the Supreme
Yeah, I was
Loki
like,
right
oh,
there.
it's like you best respect Kid Loki.
Yeah, I
He actually
know.
killed Thor, and then everyone had like an oh shit moment. I
They
mean,
also
mostly
was
Loki. I mean, they're all Loki.
there was a moment when they were going to the underground bunker and you're looking downwards and there's like a hammer with like a frog Thor trying to get to it. Did you see that?
Yeah, like I didn't know that was a frog. I thought it was just like a mini Thor just jumping around inside of a jar.
Or
My name is
my
Earl
name is
says
Earl.
time shenanigans are BS. And Black Loki's actually Mark Henry, and he will be racing a steam engine in the season
Fuck
finale.
you.
And then Zombie
Zombie
Pig
Vic says
thinks
I think
he was boastful
boastful
Loki.
Loki. Oh, okay. I didn't know that.
I don't
Thank
know
you.
my comic book lore.
I didn't know I don't know. I never read Thor comics or Loki comics or anything, so I'm really not familiar with them. But gracias. So anyways, they talk about surviving versus escaping. We talk about how I did mention Kid Loki. Old Loki is basically what if Loki at the end or at the beginning of Infinity War, if instead of trying to attack Thanos, he just ended up what's the word I'm saying? He ended up like hiding away like a coward. And he ends up talking about how he just, took himself out of the timeline and everything else just kind of happened. Did you notice that the Thanos copter, Mikey, in the background?
Yeah, and I was like, wait.
Yeah, Thanos
I
has a
remember it was like, was
helicopter
that a
comic book.
meme? And then it was a meme, and then I looked it up after the episode, and I was like, oh shit, the Thanos copter was a real thing.
Yeah. And so, anyways, they end up laughing at regular Loki's plan to escape and fight the cloud because there's a big cloud monster that's threatening to kill everyone. And when the other Loki tries to get out, there's a bunch of other Lokis that show up that are led by President Loki. And I kind of wanted a little bit more of like who these Lokis are, but you kind of felt like it was good that they just kind of just said no, these are just a bunch of other Lokis.
Yeah, like we already had enough characterization with the three Thors that we first saw, and I feel like more characterization with more Lokis would have been more confusing and maybe a little bit overwhelming with the information.
I mean, I do agree. Then we go back to the TVA where the judge, who goes by Renslayer, and Sylvie talk about who the person behind this could be. They're looking through the files, and they theorize that it could be past the end of time, past the void. The person who is behind everything could be hiding there. And so Judge Renslayer calls in the guards, and Sylvie purges herself. And when she purges herself, she ends up meeting with Mobius, getting saved by Mobius, who shows up in a pizza delivery car. Queen Renslayer.
Yeah, I was actually really happy when he showed up. I was like, "Hey, there he is."
I know, right? I was like, I want to see more Owen Wilson. I keep saying Queen. Judge Renslayer meets with the captive guard. What was her name? It was like Hunter B20 or something like that.
Hunter B12 or is that the vitamin?
I can't remember, but the guard, right? And basically, like trying to get information. Like you were connected with the variant. Like what drives her? It's like, oh, it's revenge. And like now she wants to find out who's behind everything, and like she'll get there before you do because you want to find out, and she needs to find out. I thought it was a interesting line. I thought it was a cool line, but also a little cringy. Like it's one of those lines that I knew you were gonna say it before you said it. Type thing.
Yeah.
Sylvie gets saved by Mobius. Okay, I already read that. The Lokis betray each other, and I like how Gator Loki, like people were arguing of whether it was a Loki or not, and then he ends up biting President Loki's hand off, which I thought was pretty funny. So anyways,
I like the alligator Loki's reactions. It was very expressive.
Yeah. The alligator Loki was probably my favorite. They where was I now? They come up with a plan that they're going to kill the big cloud monster thingy, and then Loki and Sylvie meet up.
Elias,
and Sylvie
the cloud monster thing's Elias.
Oh yeah, it's alive. I don't even know what the fuck they call it. They call it something, but I forget. So Loki and Sylvie meet up, and then what is it?
Elias, Alioth.
Elias. Thank you. So the Loki and Sylvie meet up. And Sylvie says that their plan to kill the Elias is stupid, and that she says, I'm going to enchant the Elias. And then they're like, that's stupid. So Mobius goes back with the TVA using the time thing that she took from Renslayer. Sylvie and regular Loki go, while old Loki and Kid Loki and Gator Loki are like, we're staying here. This is our home now. And so Sylvie's trying to enchant the Elias, but it's like she needs time, so Loki goes to create a distraction, and it's not going for regular Loki, it's still going for Sylvie. And then you see old Loki show up, and he fucking summons Asgard to be a distraction.
Dude, that was dope. That was a movie level event right there.
I was like, oh shit. And the cool thing is, like, even like old Loki says that line where like knives are fucking useless. They prevent us from unleashing our full power or our full magical
speaking of power, he's like, you guys, I forgot what he said to Loki and Sylvie. He's like, you guys are stronger than you realize, something like that.
No, I think they see. I think Loki and Sylvie see old Loki doing that, and they're like, "How the fuck is he doing that?" I think Sylvie says that, or something along those lines. And Loki's like, "I think we're more powerful than we realize." I can't remember who said that, but it was
Loki did say that. No, it was Loki. You're right.
Was it Loki? Yeah. Anyways, we see the giant monster being distracted by Asgard, but then kind of old Loki runs out of powers and ends up getting swallowed. And in that moment before he's like fabulous purpose, because he's finally finding his purpose to be able to, what's the word I'm looking for? Be able to kind of, die out, like doing something good. And then we see in that moment, Sylvie and Loki are able to channel their powers together to enchant the Alioth, and it opens a portal to where they will, we'll see who is behind everything and who's behind all of this. Now, hopefully, Mikey, I hope it's not another Loki, because that will be fucking disappointing, and I will be like, this is fucking bullshit. How do you feel?
Yeah, I don't think it's going to be Loki. And I
Do you
also
think
have no idea who it's going to be. But if it is Loki, yeah, I would be pretty underwhelmed.
Yeah. Hopefully it's not and people are saying Kang the Conqueror, but I don't think they'd put Kang the Conqueror in this movie, being that he's gonna be in Ant-Man 3. So we'll see. I mean, like, I thought a funny idea would be, what if it was like an evil Thor who's just literally just fucking with all the Lokis?
That would be crazy. But then we would have heard Chris Hemsworth coming back. Or actually, I don't know, maybe not.
They kept it a secret. I don't know.
Yeah, and there was another thing I wanted to talk about. I forgot what it was. Oh, the how Loki revealed himself to be DB Cooper. I like that.
Uh-huh. Oh yeah.
And then the USS Eldridge, which is associated with the Philadelphia experiment, showing up. I was like, oh shit.
Like, oh yeah, I do like the little, like, kind of like historical, like, little moments they throw in there. It's like, oh fuck, that's cool. But
Yeah, so
yeah,
that brings us to the end of our spoiler section. I mean, our discussion of Loki. And yeah, what are your predictions? Or, I mean, we already
kind of went over it
so
already.
I don't know who to expect for who's behind the TVA.
Yeah. As long as it's not a fucking another Loki. But then someone was saying there's like a throwaway line when Mobius is interrogating Loki, and he's like, "Of course it was me. I was pulling the strings the whole time." Like, oh, that could allude that it could be another Loki behind everything, and I'd be like, I would fucking hate
Oh,
that.
and he also mentioned, like, yeah, we dealt with monsters, titans, vampires. Or was that last episode?
I think that was the last episode.
Okay, never mind. But yeah, anyways, moving on from Loki to another MCU property, which we watched last night, less than 24 hours ago.
Yeah, like literally,
So,
like
yeah,
what? 12 hours ago?
Tell us your thoughts. No spoiler thoughts. Or no,
No spoiler
spoilers.
thoughts.
Are we doing spoilers?
No spoilers. Let's not do spoilers for Black Widow, because it just came out.
Okay,
And
yeah. No spoilers for Black Widow, so it's safe to listen.
So this is safe to listen to. Not non-spoiler review. I really liked Black Widow. I would say, if I were to give it a rating, I would say it was good, not great. About 7.5 to an 8. Yeah, I would say around there. It was a solid movie overall. I think a lot of the cool things that they did as far as Black Widow and the humor and with the family dynamic, I really enjoyed. I thought the action looked pretty cool. As far as like the quips, it made me laugh a couple of times. I would say for me the standout character is what's his name? David Harbour. David Harbour's Red Guardian was the standout character for me. I really also liked Florence Pugh's Yelena. I thought
she stole the show for me.
I would say those two were the standout characters for me. Excuse me.
You're okay?
Fucking on water today. But I would say that also I was initially like, what's the word I'm looking for? Like, I'm not a big fan of prequels in general, but I thought this one did some good, give us a good background on Black Widow's story, and it's not like a prequel where it's set before everything else. It was, set in a specific time in the MCU that it fits nice and perfectly in there. And it kind of makes sense.
Yeah, for those who don't know, it takes place right after Civil War, before Infinity War.
So it's very much it fits in its own like little package, and I liked it. I thought some of the I wish the fight scenes were there were a little bit more of them. But I think me and you, one of the main criticisms we felt about this movie is one, there was a lot of like Deus Ex Machina.
Yeah,
Because,
very, very coincidental incidences.
like a lot of the stuff in this movie, like felt like the story just moves along because it's a series of coincidences that just happen to happen, right? And
Yeah.
like I feel a lot of the storytelling is very heavy-handed in the sense that it like there's like twists that happen that you can kind of predict because they kind of just spoon feed you that shit. Like this is like oh this and it's really in your face like the narration of how it or the kind of the
Hmm.
storytelling of like oh pay attention to this, pay attention to this, and by the time you get to the twist you're like I wasn't surprised and I didn't care for the twist to be
Yeah, so it's
fair.
kind of like the the marketing of Deathloop. Like, ooh, we're already intrigued, but you don't have to keep telling us about it.
Exactly. I thought this movie had weak villains as far as um the bad guys. I just didn't really they weren't really charismatic or super threatening or anything. So I kind of felt like it was kind of
Is it
whatever.
better than Iron Man 2's Whiplash?
Um, I'd say they're about the same. To be fair, yeah, they're about the same. I would say Whiplash is a more charismatic, entertaining villain, but his story was more convoluted. So it kind of
Yeah.
nets out as far as me. Yeah. How did you feel about it?
Black Widow far better than Iron Man 2 and 3, says Zombie Bait.
I would agree with
I
that.
would put it on the same tier as 3 because I didn't love the movie, but I didn't like it. But it did its job. Like, it was very, what's the word I'm looking for? Adequate. And like we said, there's a lot of Deus Ex Machina going on. It's like the story felt a little cookie cutter ish to me.
Yeah.
And then, like you said, the twist saw it coming from my actually, I saw the twist from the opening credits because I saw the cast, the who I saw big name actors, and I was like, oh, I had no idea she was in this movie. And then they kept doing a Deathloop thing where they kept reminding us about a certain plot element. And I was like, who could be this person? And I was like, oh, wait, we haven't seen her yet. And it must be her. And then I was already operating on that level within like the first 20, 30 minutes of the movie. So when the twist finally came, I was like, there you go.
Yeah. No, I also agree with a lot of the things you just said. I say, I feel like this movie. Oh, funny note. We actually watched the movie um with some friends yesterday, and one of them she actually didn't see Endgame. So I highly recommend if you haven't seen Endgame to watch that before you watch this movie because stuff in
Yeah,
this
very,
movie
very highly
will
recommended.
spoil Endgame for you. So make sure you watch Endgame first. Um, so just giving you that kind of quick like spoiler warning.
So,
Also,
Gio, what did you think about Taskmaster?
I didn't care for the characterization of the character at all. Like I said, I thought we had weak villains. I thought the Taskmaster and the other guy, the other Russian guy, were pretty weak villains, and I didn't care that for them at all. We did get that the kind of background story on what happens in Budapest that has been talked about
Yeah,
in older MCU movies, which I thought was pretty cool.
yeah,
I mean, I
we
think they mentioned
finally
in the
know what happens in Budapest.
like we kind of they kind of they told us that we would find out about that in this movie, but I kind of didn't put it together until like after watching the movie. Like, oh yeah, Budapest. What did you think of Rachel Weisz's character, like the Mama?
Uh, I mean, I didn't really have any strong opinions on her performance. I'm like, oh, okay, she was cool. It's whatever. It's kind of like the Michael Douglas character in Ant-Man. It's like, it's
They're
cool.
just kind of there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would agree. Yeah, I also felt like there was like a kind of like okay, they didn't go as far. like I would say like the Endgame scene of like girl power. But I think there were a little shades of that, which I get. You know, you want to appeal to. You know, this is the first solo MCU like female superhero flick, which I understand that. I get that. But I thought it was the line where the bad guy was like, "Oh, the resource that the world has so many of girls." Like I thought that line was a little on the nose.
Yeah.
Like I thought that was a little like on the nose, but yeah. I mean, I also felt like the final fight were kind of the final fight was kind of underwhelming. I mean, there wasn't
Oh, yeah, and
really a
another thing
final.
that wait, what?
I'd say the final. I would say the final fight was more of not like a final fight, but more of a final action scene, and to me, it was kind of underwhelming.
Yeah, like the thing that is like that I'm kind of disappointed about is like all the stuff we saw about Taskmaster, like the cool shots that we saw, we already saw in the trailers.
Yeah.
So I was
Also,
like, damn, all right. So
Taskmaster suit
they
was
gave us all
ugly
the
as
meaty
fuck.
scenes.
I was gonna say Taskmaster's suit was also ugly as fuck.
Yeah, I didn't like the look of Taskmaster either. Like it seemed very you're just wearing hockey pads.
Yeah, no,
Like, it was
exactly.
very. It gave me
Yeah,
that vibe.
it definitely gave me that vibe. And when you said that, I was like, yeah, that's exactly what it was. I was like, oh, hockey pads. Yeah, that's exactly what the fuck it was. I did think it was cool, like the mimicking of the different Avengers, like Black Panther
Yeah, Black
and
Panther,
And
Captain
Hawkeye.
America. Who else?
Hawkeye.
Oh yeah. Oh, yeah, and he also
So,
did the Black Widow pose. Such a
oh yeah,
poser.
the like that. I think there's a lot of the jokes in the movie are basically her family making fun of her for being an Avenger, and those were the jokes that like made me laugh the most because it's very much like you're fucking corny as shit, and she's trying to defend it, but I think she probably also knows that yeah, I'm corny as fuck being an Avenger. So
Yeah, and
I,
I think
I like it.
Yelena is the best part of Phase 4 so far. What
Yeah,
about
you
you?
think so? Yeah, same. I mean, I hope we see more of her in the movies. So
Oh yeah, will we see her again in the movies? I don't know because
oh,
well, we're not talking spoilers, but
no.
yeah, to be I don't know. I'm very interested in the future of Phase 4.
Yeah. But also, same. I think she plays the role to where she can, like, if they want to use her, in future roles, I think she would, could fit. She could be a part of like a team up movie, and I think she would fit well.
Mhm.
But we'll see. We'll see
And there's a
how future
link
movies.
from this movie. Oh, wait, we'll see how what. Sorry.
We'll see how Yelena if she fits into the future MCU.
So there's a link between this movie and Captain America and the Winter Soldier. Do you think watching this movie would have made that link more I don't know the word I'm looking for, epic when you saw it in the TV show?
No,
Or
because
did it have the same effect?
I feel like the link that you see in the TV show has a little bit more character, like not character, a little bit more explanation on the link than we do here, and I feel like it's better watching it first in the TV show and then the movie.
So I find it interesting because they were supposed to reveal that link to us in this movie before watching the show, and then so yeah, I don't know, but yeah,
We'll see, but you
and
wanna and there.
yeah, I don't know. Anything else?
I think that's it. I mean, like overall, we enjoyed it. We felt like the story was
Or
pretty
wait,
cookie cutter,
one last thing.
and some
Where
of
do you
the
rank Black
what?
Widow out of all the MCU films?
What did you say? I couldn't hear you.
Where do you place Black Widow out of all the MCU films?
Probably like maybe like lower middle tier.
Yeah, Same. I was like right above Iron Man 3, Captain Marvel. And yeah, that's where I put it.
Yeah, I'd put it above Iron Man 3. I haven't seen Captain Marvel, but I know some people really love Captain Marvel. They think it's the best one in the MCU.
Oh, all right. That's the first time I heard that.
I'm just ribbing at some of my friends. But yeah.
Oh. Anyway, so that brings us to the end of our show. And would you like to give us? Not taking that bait. Zombie bait says, but yeah, would you like to give us a final word?
Yeah, let's give me the one, Mikey. All right. Oh,
You have it.
I have it. Oh, it's not showing up on either of the screens. There we go. Oh, it's not showing up on the OBS or on the Discord. Anyway,
because you're watching the preview screen.
God damn it. Anyways, a word, right? Be ready for a comeback, even when things like the pandemic bring you down. It's okay to feel like you haven't accomplished much during the last year because the pandemic really got all of us. If you gained some weight, if you didn't read that book or write that book that you were meaning to do, if you didn't pick up a new hobby, if you didn't pick up a new skill, it's okay, right? Even now in 2021, we are still recovering from the pandemic. And also, like, even though we're talking about going out and going to movie theaters, COVID is still happening. So I would suggest people, still wear your masks, still, be safe, and always be ready for a marvelous comeback. That's it for the show. Mikey, can we skip the post show today? I got to get ready for this party.
Okay, no post show.
No post show today. Like always, if you want to support us, let me put it in chat. 1v1. There is our YouTube, our Instagram, our Twitter, and our Patreon. Please support us on there. And like always, this has been your boy, Gio Huey Flo, alongside my co-host,
Mikey.
Telling you to stay thriving, stay fighting, and stay surviving. We will see you all next week. Peace.